on the technical side, your stuff is so good, like both emotionally, but then also like visually on the technical side. I was just curious, your process, like, do you write out the story beforehand? Are you doing it in real time? I was just curious on what your process looks like.
The easiest way I would break it down is that I think in acts. So 3 acts are the traditional structure. Act 1, I always figure out what's the most effective way to establish the problem that we're talking about. This is in the context of NGOs or even brands oftentimes like this structure because most good, compelling products also are solving a problem. How do you talk about the problem in the most compelling, engaging way that pulls you into a main character's story? Then the second act should talk about how do you unpack this problem and how do you slowly solve this? How are ways that either the product or the organization is solving it? The organization, I should mention, is not the hero of the story. Rule number 1, anytime people set out to do an NGO film, they think, oh, it's a film about the NGO. No, the NGO is more like the mentor of the story. The character is the hero, and the character is someone that they served, someone who benefited from the work that they did and was transformed from before they engaged with organization to after, and who they are today and who they're becoming in the future. So Act 1 is a problem. What was life before the organization? What is the larger issue at hand? Illiteracy, homelessness, refugees trying to find job placement, whatever it is. And then the second act is, how are we dealing with that? And we're still in the world of the main character. How is their life being changed on a tangible level by being a part of the work? And then once you establish the work that's being done and really unpack the guts of what the film is about in the second act, then the third act is what do we do now? Where do we go from here? Is there something that we still need to do to change the first act? Is there still a statistic that we need to change? Okay, that's my call to action. Give now, help change the lives of 500,000 women in Nepal who can't read or write. Or this work is done and now here's the vision of what we're doing next. And how do I get a part of that? Or if it's a product, this is how it can change your life. This is how it can impact your life going forward or change the way that you engage with the world around you. So that's a 3-act structure I think in. And then how I maneuver within those buckets is like an in the moment process.
An experience plays so much into that.
Exactly. And so you have that guiding my structural story brain. And then from a cinematography brain, that's training of just harnessing the real life light around you and see what looks good and know where things will shine and where things will look really cinematic to the camera, always shooting into the light, looking for room with contrast, looking for ways for people to be silhouetted, making sure that you're getting plenty of hero shots of the individuals that you're focusing on, making sure that you're getting emotional range of the characters you're focusing on. If they're talking about how painful their past was, can you find moments where the imagery is darker and more bleak, or where they're looking out over a landscape, kind of reflecting on it, giving them prompts as the filmmaker? I want you to really think right now about one of the, that moment you told me about earlier. Would you just hold that in your mind as you film them, and that now it's emanating out of them? And then making sure that you have the footage to tell the story of the third act. Now everything's better, things are changing. It's, we've solved some of this problem. How is the cinematography lifting? How is some of the action coming alive on screen so that way the audience can feel like they went from this sort of cave to out into the bright world, to feel like there is hope. We're not stuck in the darkness.
Oh, so good. That's so, I think, practical and tangible ways to think about tackling a story, because I know at the beginning it'll feel quite daunting. So again, you guys should replay that and listen to that back, because there was so much good takeaway from a storytelling and filmmaking perspective that Jake shared.